One patient had the wrong medical device implanted in his neck. Another had the blood supply to his kidneys shut off. 25 Investigates has uncovered serious allegations involving an up-and-coming Boston doctor.
Investigative reporter Ted Daniel has been working on this story for months. As he explains, the doctor continues to practice.
He's in good standing with no known restrictions. The board that regulates doctors in Massachusetts received a detailed complaint about Dr. Mikhail Higgins in 2019. It was filed by one of his colleagues. Documents reviewed by 25 Investigates show she first reported him up the chain of command at the hospital where they both worked. How she says the hospital responded is the subject of a federal lawsuit.
I'd never encountered any situations like this in my entire life.
Dr. Susan O'Horo is suing her former employer, Boston Medical Center. She's an interventional radiologist, and at BMC she had an additional title, Director of Quality and Safety of the Interventional Radiology Program. When she started in early 2018, she says she immediately became aware of junior attending physician Dr. Mikhail Higgins.
Dr. Higgins had problems regardless of whether things were simple or complicated. Nurses came to me, residents came to me, other physicians from other departments came and discussed their concerns with me.
Did people at the hospital call him the Boston Butcher?
Yes, and unfortunately I have heard that term.
Interventional radiologists use scans and other imaging to perform precise surgical procedures. According to Dr. O'Horo's lawsuit, Dr. Higgins tore a patient's small intestine during a biopsy when he should have biopsied the lymph node on the opposite side, installed the wrong medical device when he mixed up one patient with another, missed an area of internal bleeding in a trauma patient. According to the lawsuit, the patient died the next morning, likely at least in part as a result.
It was very distressing to be witness to this. I had escalated my concerns to the chair of the department and to other people in leadership, and yet nothing was done.
Dr. O'Horo says a file she kept on Dr. Higgins was mysteriously deleted from a hospital hard drive in May 2019. Her attorney, Lisa Arrowwood.
Instead of listening to her and following up on the issues she raised, BMC retaliated against her.
Dr. O'Horo alleges the hospital prevented her from performing her quality and safety role. 25 Investigates asked Boston Medical Center about that. A spokesperson writes, Boston Medical Center does not tolerate any kind of discrimination or retaliation against an employee or medical staff member who raises a concern. BMC has refuted the allegations against the hospital as baseless in court.
Are you Dr. Higgins?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Ted Daniel. I'm a reporter from Boston 25 News.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
We attempted to speak with Dr. Higgins on the record.
Are you aware of the complaint?
So I would have to probably speak to the hospital's attorneys about this.
He politely declined.
How do regulators decide what's a normal complication and what is something more serious?
Dr. Heidi Coomer is a clinical care physician and the president of the Patient Advocate Certification Board.
You look at patterns. I mean, is there somebody who is taking way more patients back to the operating room for second procedures? Lawyers get involved, and that really not just prolongs the process, but frequently derails the process.
Case files obtained by 25 Investigates reveal Dr. O'Horo reported Dr. Higgins to 2 state agencies more than 3 years ago. The Department of Health determined that Boston Medical Center handled concerns about Dr. Higgins appropriately, in part because the hospital reported placing Dr. Higgins on probation. No deficiencies were cited by DPH. The other complaint filed against Dr. Higgins' medical license remains active. The Board of Registration in Medicine is focusing on 3 of Dr. Higgins' cases. In one, board paperwork alleges he caused an injury to a patient's kidneys by closing off a vein that supplies blood.
For me to have stepped outside of the hospital's leadership, it was an extreme move, but one that I felt needed to be done.
Dr. O'Horo left BMC in 2020. She continues to practice in her field. Here's where things stand with Dr. Higgins. A Board of Registration in Medicine filing states good cause exists to believe he's violated his medical license and may be sanctioned. Dr. Higgins denies his actions were below the standard of care in his board filings. While that case and the lawsuit drag on, Dr. Higgins continues to perform procedures. His medical license is spotless. For 25 Investigates, I'm Ted Daniel.